Hey gorgeous souls, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another one of my videos today. So today's video is to celebrate the new year and welcome in our beautiful intentions. I'm going to give you my top tips and tools on some manifesting rituals that you can do this new year to supercharge your desires and set some fun and intentional manifestations for 2024. So first of all, I hope you've had the most wonderful Christmas, whatever you've been up to, and I'm excited to share this time with you today to do the most intentional, beautiful manifesting ritual together. But don't forget as well that I also have my end of year review video that I did earlier this week. So if you haven't done that yet, I would strongly recommend doing that before this video so that you have even more clarity and awareness coming into this video. So I'll link that down below for you. So do make sure to go do that first if you haven't done so already. And if you want to dive into a winter solstice ritual as well, if you haven't done your winter solstice ritual, I'll also link that below. And this is part of my little 3 video series that I do at the end of each year. You guys absolutely loved these last year, so I'm excited to bring them to you again this year with even more new energy, new prompts, and exciting things. But if you're new here to my channel, then welcome. My name is Emma. I'm an award-winning life coach, 3 times best-selling author, law of attraction YouTuber here on my channel, and I'm the host of the #1 spirituality podcast on iTunes, Spiritual Queen's Badass Podcast. And here on my channel, I cover all things law of attraction, manifestation, spirituality, and self-help. So not only do I really hope you're going to enjoy this video, but the abundance of videos here on my channel over the last 10 years. So it is New Year coming up in a few days' time, and I know what it's like. You suddenly think, I've got to set these intentions. What am I going to do? I want to try some new rituals. Everybody's doing these rituals online. What is it I should be doing, Emma? So I've got you covered. I'm going to give you the rituals that I tried last year and whether I think they worked and whether I would do them again. I'm going to share with you what I'm going to do. And I'm also going to give you a practical ritual that you can follow over the next few days or the 1st of January when you come to set your intentions. And don't forget, from the 1st to the 5th of January, I also have my annual free 5-day manifesting challenge. This is my 6th year of doing it. We had over 2,000 people do it last year. We've got nearly 3,000 people doing it this year already. So I am so excited to be doing this with you guys again. So I'll pop the link down below as well if you want to come and do some more, physical things together and have just a fun and exciting and expansive week with me as we step into 2024. And it's all completely free. So what more could you want? So for your New Year's rituals, I really want you to set the scene. I, especially for this one, I'm so deeply intentional with it because I just think at the end of 2024, when I look back and I look at all the things I've manifested and achieved, I want to look back and be like, thank God that version of Emma at the end of 2023 sat down, took her time, was deeply intentional with all of this. And I've been manifesting for over 7, nearly 8 years now. And right at the beginning of my manifesting journey, I did none of this. I just on New Year's Day was like, right, or New Year's Eve, write all these goals down. And I actually wouldn't end up hitting a lot of them. Whereas when I started to be deeply intentional and use my 3-step process of reflect, rejoice, and reset, and this video is the reset version of this, I found that I was hitting every goal on my manifestation list because I was being so much more intentional, I was so much more clearer on why I was setting these goals. And they just felt so much better and more in alignment because I was doing the pre-work, I was doing the preparation before, just instead of stumbling into New Year and hoping that the clarity would come to me of what I want to manifest this year. And I always think as well, with being deeply intentional and giving yourself this 20-minute practice today with me, is imagine when you have your manifestation in your hands or it's in your life, imagine looking back and thinking wow, for that 20-minute investment of time with Emma, or whenever you choose to do this, for that 20-minute investment of time, I now have this incredible desire in my life. Was it worth the 20 minutes? Absolutely, hell yes. Did it cost me money? No, it was completely free. But actually, by doing that and giving myself this time, I have this incredible desire in my life. And as I always say in my books, don't be half-assed. If you want to be half-assed, you're going to get half-assed desires. If you want full-blown, intentional, amazing manifestations in your life, you need to be intentional too. You need to be present with them if you want them to be present with you. So are your desires worth that investment? I'm sure it's a hell yes. And the investment here is time. That's literally it. And you have oodles of it. So do dedicate this time, light a candle, grab a cup of your favorite drink, whether it's a nice Prosecco or a cup of tea or hot chocolate, like all the festive drinks are welcome here. You know, grab a cup of your favorite drink, set the scene, get all snuggly, get cozy, and really just be fully intentional with this, because you will get so much more out of this when you do. Now, I'm going to suggest this at the end of the video as well, but before I do my New Year's ritual, I will sage or like spray with aura spray, because obviously sage and Palo Santo is endangered. I will use ethical sprays, aura sprays, just to cleanse the space and cleanse the area that I'm working in. Like, I want the best vibes ever, right? So I will literally, this one I'm going to use is my smokeless smudge spray. I'll link these sprays below because I swear by them and they're great. And I will literally just spray it around me like that, spray it on my table if I've got like a table in front of me, or my journals, and just really like, oh my gosh, even I can feel that now. Like, I've had a very overwhelming week. It's the end of the year, as you can imagine. So I'm just like, oh, that energy. So I love it. So I would recommend just like cleansing the space, just so you have a good, like now, a good clean space energetically to do this ritual in. And just make sure you're not going to be like running around distracted, like, you know, pets, children, partners, friends aren't going to come in and disturb you. Like, just make sure you're fully present when you're doing your ritual. So step one of your New Year manifesting ritual is to go through everything that you have set for 2023. So did you do a vision board? Did you do a goals list? Do you have a manifestation box like I do, where you put all your like intentions in? So go find those journals, go find your vision board, go find whatever you did to set intentions for 2023. And I want you to go through them, tick off what happened, reflect on maybe what didn't, and also clear out if you've got a manifestation box. It's a great opportunity to clear that out if need be. So if any manifestations have happened, unless I want to keep them in there as gratitude and a belief exercise, I can leave them in there. But most of the time I take them out to be like, well, I've got that now, so everything in here is, you know, in progress. So it's just a great opportunity to declutter a little bit, but also reflect and tick off all the amazing things that happened this year. So if you join me on my manifesting challenges before, we normally do a scripting letter to ourselves. So this is the perfect time to find that letter we did in January, if you did it, and just have a read of it, see what manifested for you, and just have that little like reflection practice with your 2023 desires. And also for any manifestations that haven't manifested, just ask yourself, why do you think they haven't manifested? Again, this is not a judgment exercise, like, you know, look at it with compassion, but just ask yourself why you feel maybe it hasn't manifested for you. Again, this will be great inspiration and motivation for how you can do whatever you haven't done this year in 2024 to really bring that into fruition now. Maybe you've set some intentions and you're looking back over them and you're thinking, I totally forgot I even set that. So just giving your intentions your energy in this step one is really important, because anything that hasn't manifested, we want to give our energy to and make sure it still feels in alignment here and now in December as we go into New Year, and just make sure that if we're going to carry that goal forward into 2024, it feels like a hell yes, it feels aligned, and it feels that, you know, it still feels so good and exciting. And use this step one as an opportunity to celebrate as well. Celebrate your wins, celebrate all the amazing work you've done this year. I always love doing this because it just feels like such a proud moment of like, wow, like this ritual that I did on New Year's Eve last year, like, look how much has come into my life just from doing this ritual. Like, it's madness. Every year I'm like, oh my gosh, but I'm like, this is a non-negotiable for me now. Like, I would never ever miss a New Year's ritual, just because of how impactful these really can be on your year and when setting these goals. Your next part to your ritual is to set a word or mantra for 2024. So did you set a word for the year that you would like to embody and experience in 2023? If you can remember it, I always advise writing these down, because I never used to remember mine if I didn't write it down. So do write it down so that you know what your word for 2024 is, and you can remember it when you reflect in December next year. But if you did set a word for 2023, do you feel like you embodied it? Do you feel like that came into fruition for you? And what is your word or mantra for 2024? What word would you really like to step into? What would you like to experience in 2024? I feel like having a word, a focus, again, just really helps to positively shape the intention, positively shape the year, and be a really clear indication to the universe of like, this is what I want to experience in 2024. And if you're struggling to find that word, don't worry. Sometimes it doesn't just instantly pop into your head, but do trust anything that does come up instantly. I have a meditation that I'm going to link down below, which will help you to uncover this word. So if you are struggling to find your word of the year, highly recommend doing my end of year manifesting meditation. So it's like a New Year's meditation anyway, again, to amplify the energy of your ritual here, but again, to help you set that word. And when we really think about what it is we want to experience in 2024, that can feel quite overwhelming as well. And I think if you're someone who's not sure on what it is they want to manifest next year yet, you're not alone. So many people feel like this. They feel the overwhelm, the pressure. So one thing that I really like to kind of suggest is actually backtrack a little bit. So when you think about, so if you're not clear on like the exact goals you want to manifest in 24 yet, then think about, okay, what do I want to feel, or what do I want to experience in 2024? So sometimes when we connect to the feelings and emotions, that can come through so much clearer. So for me, like instantly when I did this the other day, I was like, joy. Like joy is the one thing that I want to really embody. So that was an obvious choice for my word of the year. So again, like even just thinking about the feelings or what I wanted to experience helped me get clear on my word for 24. But then also just helped me to know clearer of like, okay, well, if I want to experience joy, what goals and intentions would reflect and, you know, enhance that joy in my life. And also another great thing to do with this, if you're still not actually clear, maybe you have some words, but none of them are feeling really impactful, like that example there, think about the version of yourself on the 31st of December, 2024, and think about, okay, where do I want to be in a year? Where do I want that version of myself to be? And then you can say, okay, well, if I want her or them to feel like happy, or I want them to feel fulfilled, I want them to feel joyful. Okay, well then if that version of myself is feeling joyful, happy, fulfilled, what must I then have to do throughout 2024 to become that version of myself, to embody those emotions, embody those feelings? Or if you want to have a new job, for example, by the end of 2024. Okay, so what would need to happen for you to be in that position, to walk out of 2024 with that desired outcome? So I almost feel like sometimes going ahead kind of helps us to look at the destination of, okay, the path, the route may not be clear, but actually the destination is clear to me. So, okay, if I want to be there, or I want to be feeling that, or I want to be doing that, what must happen throughout the year in order for me to have that reality, have that outcome? And then you can have some really tangible actions and goals and feelings that you can then set as your intentions for the new year. Your next part of your ritual is, what would I like to manifest this year? So whether you choose to write this down as a goals list, scripting, vision board, I want you to trust what feels like the most powerful rituals that you want to do. And I'm going to give you some suggestions a little bit later on, but for now, just answer that prompt of what do I want to manifest this year? Because then once you've got like a list of things, you can then say, right, you can make sure they feel in alignment, make sure they feel really good, and then do the ritual, do the practices, do the little things to set those intentions once you've got that list to refer back to and reflect on. Your next prompt is, what 3 out of your manifestation list are your top priorities and would have the most impact on your other desires? This is a great question. Now, the journaling prompts I'm giving you are in the description box below, so I know I'm wording them slightly differently. So all of them are proper journaling prompts below for you, so go check those out in the description box. So essentially, what 3 manifestations out of your list you've just written are your top priorities, and what ones would have the most knock-on effect on the other goals? So for instance, I did this last year and this really helped me see differently in terms of my business and the money goals that I had. So I was focused on the money, but I realized that actually focusing on the other goal of like growing a certain thing would automatically have a knock-on effect on the money. So I wouldn't necessarily need to worry about the money, I'd need to worry about the other manifestation. So it was kind of like taking that focus of what I thought was the top priority, or what I thought would be the most impactful, when actually something else surprised me. And it was true that when I hit that manifestation, the money was a byproduct of it. Like it was an after effect. It happened as if by magic, because of course it would. So looking at your manifestations, what 3 are your top priority, and what manifestations would have the most ripple effect on your other manifestations? So then you can put your energy into those kind of key manifestations that are then going to have that amplified ripple effect effect on the other manifestations, because you don't want to be focusing on the smaller things, you know, and of course you can go to what you feel drawn to, but when you focus on those top priorities and the things that would have the most impact out of your other 2024 goals, then you start to manifest with ease and you start to see that ripple effect as if by magic. Instead of thinking, well, I have to focus on this, I have to focus on this, you're kind of directing your energy so much more streamlined. Your next prompt is, what action can I take over the next 3 months to make my success inevitable? So as we know, it's already yours, your manifestations already exist and they want you to. So what can you do over the next 3 months to make your success inevitable, to make these manifestations inevitable? So is there an action that springs to mind? I want you to start actioning this and planning and prepping for it. So go through your 3 high priority goals or manifestations and think about what action you can take over the next 3 months to make them inevitable. So there's your step 1 of your manifesting New Year ritual. Step 2 is to now set these intentions. Now we've done a little bit of journaling, now we've got more clarity, it's now time to set those intentions. So if there's any practices that you really love doing, scripting, like I said, you could do a letter where you write to yourself here and now at the end of 2023 as your end of 2024 self, telling your current day self all the things that have happened throughout the year. So you write all your manifestations, all your goals and intentions for 24 as if they've already happened, and you're like writing back to the version sat here with me now, telling them like you've got all of this to look forward to, like how epic your 2024 was, all the things that happened. I actually love doing this, and it's something that I don't always prioritize, but I do always like suggest people do it. But actually I really want to do this year again because I feel more drawn to scripting, and I've also done a vision board for 2024 as well. Although I do think vision boards are more long-term energy, I think it's fun and exciting to do, to really vision the year as well. So you could do a vision board, which you could have digitally on your phone or your desktop background as well, so you can see it regularly. You could write a simple goals list. That's my normal go-to, of a bit like a shopping list of all the things that you want to achieve in 2024 or manifest. But I'm going to get into a few more suggestions after step 3. So step 3, once you've set your intentions in whatever way you want to, and don't forget, you can come and have some new and exciting ways to set these intentions in my free 5-day manifesting challenge from the 1st to the 5th of Jan. So if you're struggling and you're like, actually, I want to do this with a group of us, like have that accountability, have that group, like amazing vibes together, doing it all together, and also some suggestions from Emma, then just come and do the challenge with me from the 1st, because why not? And again, it will just give you some new ideas and new inspiration and fun little tasks. I set tasks and activities and challenges each day to again just really enhance and supercharge the energy. So come and join me if you want to come and do it through that kind of setting. So step 3, once we've set our intentions, is to store them in a sacred place. Now, you don't want to spend all this beautiful intentional time with me setting these intentions, clearing the space, etc., to then lose them, and then at the end of December in 24 think, where the heck are my goals? So do, you know, if you want to create a manifestation box, I've got a video here on my channel of what one is and how to create one. For me, that is my sacred space. I can't lose anything if it's in the manifestation box. Maybe you've got a sacred journal that you want to keep everything in, whatever there is. Maybe there's a sacred space in your house that you keep all your spiritual bits. Just make sure it's an intentional space where you're not going to lose it and you're going to be able to find it at the end of the year. And it's a really good idea as well, every quarter, so on every equinox and solstice, so quarters throughout the year, I actually go into my manifestation box, I reflect on my goals, make sure they still feel in alignment, and I just have a good clear out and declutter of it. So don't just put these goals away for the year and forget about them till December next year. You know, do check in with them regularly, tick them off, check in with them, make sure they still feel good, like send some energy to them. Maybe it's going to be a good reminder in April or whatever to be like, I actually have forgotten about that. I need to give that some attention now. So I just feel like it's always a good point of call to check in with them throughout the year, so then you can, you know, remember and reflect and also send some new energy to them as and when you need to. And also I suggest writing an action list. So now you've set your intentions and you've stored them in your safe space, think about an action list that you can do from January the 1st onwards to start bringing these into fruition. What action do you need to take? What habits and patterns and rituals do you need to cultivate to be able to bring these into your existence? You know, don't just kind of sit there and hope that the universe is going to bring them to you. As we know in the 5-step process, you've got to take action, aligned and inspired action. So do think about and set an action list of what actions you can start to take to meet the universe halfway and co-create this into your reality. Okay, so to wrap up this video, I'm going to go through a couple of the rituals that I did last year and basically tell you what happened and if I think they worked. So the first one was the grapes under the table. If you're on TikTok, you're going to know exactly what I'm on about. This time last year, it was going rife around TikTok that everyone was talking about. I think it's a Southern American tradition. I can't remember where exactly it's from, but basically this tradition of at 1 minute to midnight, sitting under your kitchen table. You can wear red if you want to manifest love, but I was just wearing red because I had my Christmas jammies on anyway. And you've got to eat 12 grapes in 1 minute. So at 23:59 to midnight, you've got to eat 12 grapes thinking about 12 desires. So I had my manifestation list that I'd written that day with my 12 goals on. I had my 12 red grapes, and underneath the table at 1 minute to midnight, I was eating these grapes as quick as I could because 5 seconds per grape goes pretty quick. And, you know, thinking about each intention, thinking about what I wanted to manifest this year. So do I think it worked? Absolutely. I've manifested every single thing off my list. And I do struggle sometimes, and I do find that some years, like, I don't always manifest everything off my list, which is probably a good thing sometimes, like in terms of they turned out not to be aligned or they turned out to not be for the highest good. So I do feel like that, I don't know why, I feel like that actually practice did work well for me. As silly and strange as it sounds, I'm doing it again because I had a really good year this year and I hit every single goal. So I'm like, well, if it works, and I'm going to do it again. So there's a funny, fun, interesting ritual you can try with me if you want to at 1 minute to midnight on New Year's Eve. And then another one was, again, another TikTok that I saw, another trend that was going around with cinnamon, the spice. So basically you just get like a little trinket dish or a little tray and you just put like some money on there. So I actually got my boyfriend to give me 10p. So it wasn't a huge amount of money that he was going to be like, okay, I'm just giving you whatever. But I asked him to give it to me instead of putting my own money in there, so that it was kind of signifying being given the money, like the universe giving me the money instead of like it being my money and then it just signifying like my money's coming to me, if that makes sense. So energetically, it made sense to me that it was a gift from my boyfriend, this 10 pence piece. So I covered it in cinnamon, and basically on the 1st of January, so I do this every month on the 1st because that's a ritual in itself, but especially the 1st of January, they suggest doing this to basically welcome in money and abundance for the year. So I stood outside my front door on New Year's Day and blew the cinnamon into my house, basically. So I just blew the, you know, the tray, the cinnamon on the coin, obviously blew in, and that was it. And then I kept, and what I do monthly now is I do that every month, but I did it specifically on New Year's Day to obviously welcome that in for the year. And then I just kept what was left on the tray, the trinket, in the kitchen in my wealth corner, one, to keep it nice and tidy, but secondly so that it would amplify the wealth by being in my wealth corner, which is feng shui, if you're not aware of it. So you can find the wealth corner of your home if you look into feng shui, and I feel like, oh my gosh, absolutely that ritual worked. I had hit and exceeded every financial goal that I set for this year, and I feel very, very blessed and grateful to have done that. But absolutely I am doing that ritual again because, again, everything worked this year. So I'm like repeating the same things to create the same amazing results next year. So I've shared a little bit about what I'm doing this year. I'm definitely doing those 2 rituals again. I've done / doing my 2024 vision board as well. And I'm definitely going to do a goals list again because that's something I do every year. One thing I would recommend as well, as we're going into the new year during Mercury retrograde. Mercury is the planet and ruler of communication, travel and technology. And when it goes retrograde, you probably hear everybody saying online, Mercury retrograde. Definitely nothing to be feared. But it goes direct again on January the 2nd. So what I would suggest doing, just because we are going into new year during a Mercury retrograde, nothing to worry about. You can still set your goals. But on January the 2nd, I would just cleanse your house with some aura spray if you've got it, ethical sage, Palo Santo, local sage if you can, however you choose to cleanse the energy of your house already. I will link those sprays below as well for you. Cleanse your home on the January the 2nd to clear out the old year. And obviously now Mercury's direct, we're like clear, we're good. And then just look at your goals and intentions that you've set for the year if you've done it before the 2nd, just to make sure it all feels in alignment. Has any more clarity come through? Do you want to change anything? Do you want to up-level anything? I always just see Mercury being in retrograde during New Year as an opportunity when it goes direct just to double check everything still feels good, everything still feels amazing, to give you that extra opportunity to, yeah, just make sure it all feels good. So that's what I would suggest doing on January the 2nd, just as an extra bonus tip. But I hope you've really enjoyed my New Year manifesting ritual. Have lots of fun with it. And I hope that you have the most abundant, fulfilled, amazing, magical 2024, whatever you are up to. And I'm certain that this is going to be your best year yet, and you're going to manifest every single thing off your list as well. But let me know if you have any funny or quirky rituals that you do on New Year to set your intentions. I'd love some more suggestions myself, and I'm sure everybody else watching would love to try these as well. So let me know what you do, what your favorite practices are. Are you joining me in my free 5-day challenge as well? Let me know. And I'm just wishing you the most magical, loving new year, whatever you are up to, and I hope you have the best time. And I just want to say a big thank you as well for watching my channel throughout 2023, for supporting my work. You guys, oh my gosh, I love you all so, so much, and I just can't wait to see all the things you're going to manifest and achieve in 2023. So celebrate yourself. You've done this. You've got to the end of the year. I'm so proud of you, and I cannot wait to bring even more videos, content, podcast, everything to you in a brand new year. But thank you so much, gorgeous souls, for watching. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comments box down below, because I reply to them all. And don't forget, you can also join my free Law of Attraction support group over on Facebook, where you can join myself and other like-minded souls, where we talk all things Law of Attraction and spirituality. I hope you have an amazing new year and an amazing week, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you all in 2024. Lots of love.